I'm not going to say anything about Vidala right now. The way she's reacting on that, I find it questionable.
You welcome us, won't you?
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, everyone. This is Venus Brown, and I am back again with another episode of The Testaments. This is episode 6, called Insidious. At least I think that's what it says on the label on the show that I have. But then on the wiki, it says Stadium. I don't know. Now, last episode, episode 5, I thought was going to cover Aunt Lydia's backstory. But it turns out that this is the episode. What else is going to go on in this episode? I really don't know. Just know that Aunt Lydia's backstory is going to be covered. I don't know how well, I don't know how much of it, but I am excited to see this. Whether they cover it the way the book does or not, I think either way it will give a different perspective of Aunt Lydia. In fact, the lady that played Aunt Lydia, I tried to say this on the previous episode, but I noticed something else going on the show and kind of lost track and forgot to bring it back up. Anyway, I saw this interview with her and she talked about how getting the script for the episode actually helped her to understand Aunt Lydia's path to where she is now better than she knew it before. So I thought that was kind of cool. And that is what I'm looking for, is something that really helps you better understand where she was coming from. When she was this awful person in The Handmaid's Tale, I think you can see some of that come out if you read the book, but also you can see some of what happens in her backstory that probably contributes to her being this way. Just watching The Handmaid's Tale, that very last season that I know some people don't like, but I appreciated it. That season helps you to kind of really understand what the precipitous was for her to change from this awful, awful person to somebody who actually wants to take this shit down. Because she was definitely not there before the end of the last season. This is 4 years later, according to the TV show and the showrunners. And if you go along with the book, it's like 15 years. I don't know if it's 15 years after The Handmaid's Tale started or 15 years after The Handmaid's Tale begins, but it was supposed to be a 15-year gap. The showrunners decided to go with a 4-year gap after the very last episode of The Handmaid's Tale, which was when the handmaids overtook Boston, where they had been stationed, basically, released it from Gilead's grip. It looks like that probably held, from what I could tell by this TV show, but I don't know that 100%. Either way, they're now in, I think, closer to the DC area. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this episode started, because I think I've done enough talking.
I'm being called away. You could take my place with the young lady.
I was hoping on this episode that they would have showed that Commander Stevens, because Penny had kind of like intentionally called the Guardian to read the card from Commander Stevens, but I don't think we saw him.
I trust your expectations were met? Hardly. I saw more than one girl plied with drinks. You failed. Oh, as I suppose you still have much to prove.
I think maybe the time's come for you and I to discuss our vision for the future.
Right. Get them working against each other. She will eventually want to, but I suspect it will take a little bit before she decides to do something like that.
I am an object of curiosity to these girls.
Would you stop pacing? You're making me nervous. How? What's going on? The Ounce decide our contenders today. 2 to 3 suitors each usually, then house visits, then weddings. And prison for the rest of our lives. Don't say that. Why not? Whatever, it's in God's hands now.
At least Becca kind of understands the reality. But I think Becca's living in her own prison already, so that's why she feels like it's going to be a prison, and these girls don't understand that. Okay.
I may be a mystery to them. These girls are no mystery to me. Jehosheba wants power. Huldah, security. Agnes, I'm not sure what she wants. Their fates are in my mortal hands. An unmarried woman picking husbands for each girl. The irony is not lost on me. School canceled again, I take it?
Fine by me. My classroom's a mess. I could use a day to clean it up.
Okay, so they're gonna go with the teacher thing. On the book, she is a lawyer.
You're late. Did you bring some coffee?
Something's happening. There are some men outside. They're armed.
That's weird.
They want to talk to you.
To me?
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna skip over that whole... So in the book, there's this section where there are lawyers and judges, stuff like that, secretaries. And there's this whole process where they go about separating these girls. Like the pregnant girl was sent to the school.
Remove any items, jewelry, cell phone.
Hold on a minute. Anyway, they had separated them. The pregnant girl was sent to school, which I believe was the Red Center where the handmaids were going. Lydia and one of the other girls went to this stadium. They said somebody else went to a box store, but I never did figure out.
Husband.
I have a partner.
Okay, so now they're doing the separating. So take her to the box store. I never did figure out what the box store was for.
Excuse me, where are you?
There's nothing you can do.
What's he doing? Just because she's pregnant? That doesn't make any sense at all. It quickly became clear there had been a coup, the first of many to come. What would transpire next? None of us knew.
Oh my God.
Sinners are always visible to the divine eye. The sins of these women have found them out by his hand.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm not gonna say anything about Vidala right now. The way she's reacting on that, I find it questionable.
Commander Maddox has expressed interest in Becca.
Commander Maddox is the man who gave alcohol to Becca, and you intend to reward his terrible behavior.
It's left Becca without any other options.
Perhaps you should administer to Hulda. She still needs to be certified.
I mean, you guys have a considerable amount of control, gals have a considerable amount of control over who these girls are married off to.
Bring her in.
I'm ready. Please come
So saying that's the only option just sounds like nonsense.
Pull down your undergarments and have a seat.
Oh, are they gonna check her validity? There are some people that are not sure if she actually started her period. They think that maybe that drink that she was drinking did something. Daisy's like, what the actual fuck? Okay. Blood. Or at least it looks like blood.
Praise be.
I'm so happy for you.
Oh my goodness. And I'll talk about Hulda at the end when I discuss the show, the episode.
Where are they taking them?
Fuck if I know.
My mother still isn't speaking to me. Not since what happened at the ball. That wasn't your fault. What if she winds up with a commander from the colonies? Then I wind up with a commander from the colonies. Becca, do you know that some of your friends put themselves in jeopardy trying to save your reputation?
Well, apparently it didn't work.
From wicked girls.
But
Jealous prune. What did she just call you? Prune. You know, like a plum that never turns green.
yeah, I would definitely have some words with that girl, even if I thought I'd get in trouble.
Good news. Our dear Hulda has been touched by his divine hand.
You may celebrate.
That's enough.
So that's the celebration she gets, but they had this whole other thing for
Now, Hulda, God has
Agnes.
provided you the opportunity to step into your womanhood with an important lesson. What do you think the punishment ought to be for a girl who uses violence upon another girl?
Oh. I know, it's Gilead. There's nothing you can do about it, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Such a girl ought to have her hands bound and whipped.
Very well.
What about the violence that the other girl used multiple times on other people? Well, I know she didn't hit them, but let's be serious. The shit she's been doing is violent as well, even if it ain't physical violence. I hope this isn't like they do with the fucking handmaids.
Hulda!
Teaching these girls was like a recipe for a tough steak.
And tough steak is always disgusting.
I had seen it work before, on myself and other women.
Okay, so this is why I thought this looked like my barrack squad or something like that, because they're just showing that court area of the stadium or whatever.
Some wolfed and guzzled, but I made my portion last as long as possible. Chewing and swallowing distracts from mental wheel spinning. Also, it passes the time.
And I would assume that eating and drinking very slowly makes it so that you can hold your pee and poop longer. Jesus freaking Christ.
I'm sorry.
About what?
The coffee. I forgot it was my turn.
What I wouldn't do for a cup of coffee right now.
You are a damn fine teacher, Lydia.
Thank you. So are you.
Vadala is a mystery.
Pass it around.
But I wonder about that mystery sometimes.
Twice, one bottle.
Sorry about your friend.
I'm sorry too. I learned quickly that having friends in Gilead was a liability. It would only bring pain and suffering. I've tried to pass this lesson along to my girls. First, my handmaids, then my precious flowers. But it doesn't always stick.
Shoo, how are your hands?
Fine.
I'd slap Jehoshua myself right now.
I think maybe you guys should cool it on this laughing for a while.
Yeah.
I heard some news from the nurse's office.
What?
Penny's gone into labor.
Awesome.
Um,
No, hold up. It's too early.
way too early.
Right?
This is her third pregnancy. The others ended.
Dear Lord, watch over our friend Penny and her baby. Keep them safe. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, no! Help! No! Let go of me! Let go! No!
Hey, step aside. He's coming through.
This is where it all begins, people. All the aunt stuff. This is where it begins. At least if it goes anything like the book.
Misogynists who openly disdain women, one needn't fear them. But the men who understand the power of women, who want to control it instead of deny it, There is no one more terrifying.
I can sit by myself.
I'm Commander Judd of the Sons of Jacob.
Oh, boy.
I've been tasked with the so-called women's sphere, that is determining where each of you shall be placed in this new order.
What order? They haven't told us anything.
58.
Yes.
Never married.
No. Does that matter?
You had an abortion.
I was very young.
You're aware that this form of person murder is now punishable by death, and that the law is retroactive.
Well, I love children. That's why I wanted to teach.
Women have been told for so long that they can achieve equality. I don't expect them to welcome the segregation, but they will have to adjust. It is God's will, after all.
Not even close, you dumbass, but whatever.
Surviving these men requires patience and allies, wherever you can find them.
That's interesting. She's against letting these girls grow friendships, but she knows that they need allies.
I, for one, commend the work you are doing.
You would be surprised how many women have said that same thing, hoping to improve their outcomes.
I do have a suggestion that might improve your own outcome. Men and women, shouldn't they be truly separate? Surely you have better things to do than concern yourself with the petty details of all of this. Who is going to teach the girls to be better women, women of God?
It's very interesting. She looks quite a bit older.
Have there been any inquiries?
No.
But he does not look older at all,
What
really.
if someone inquires about Agnes Mackenzie's lineage?
She's the daughter of a handmaid.
Not just any handmaid.
We are not here to judge. Our job is to prevent the possibility of inbreeding so the children of Gilead may thrive. Rowing together now?
Blessed day.
Blessed day, Commander Judd. What an unexpected surprise.
See, looks the same.
With the new offensive against Mayday, some of our commanders have been shuttled to the front. These men should be taken out of the running until next season.
Thank you, Commander. Your guidance is essential as we match our girls.
Commander, how is your dear wife? I hear she's experiencing complications.
It's hard to be at home watching it all.
There's no need to distract yourself with these women's issues. Rest your mind.
Yes. Perhaps you're right, Aunt Lydia.
I will handle this. After all these years, don't you trust me?
You shouldn't.
Attention,
Nobody should
girls.
trust you
Physical
either.
education will conclude at 2 bells.
Agnes, your turn. Agnes, sorry. I was distracted.
They were talking about this in an interview, that even in PE, they have to still wear the dresses, but they wear these sweatshirts over the top. And the dresses are actually made to, like, keep them pretty tight and their posture good and stuff like that, but they're uncomfortable and you can barely move in them.
I'll still be here by myself. I didn't mean to get my period. Who wants to get married anyway? Becca, you're kind of going off the deep end. You should be throwing yourself at the mercy of Aunt Lydia. Well, maybe I'll get lucky and I won't get any offers. Then I can stay here with you, Shu.
What is wrong with you? This is our whole lives. Some people would give anything for the right match.
What?
Oh.
Agnes.
I'm in love, and it's horrible.
Who? How do you know?
Anytime I'm near him, I feel hot, and then in my belly. Have you ever felt that way before?
No.
Yeah, around you.
He's not even eligible.
At least you can feel this way once, right? No matter what, that's a blessing.
Agnes Mackenzie, shouldn't you be on your way to class?
Yes, Aunt Lydia.
But...
Can I help you with something?
Yes, Aunt Lydia. I have a question. Or a request.
A request?
Respectfully, Aunt Lydia. Very.
All right, then.
I'm surprised she didn't call her into her office or something.
My guardian, the one who showed bravery on the bus that day.
I am aware.
He's soon to be made a commander. I thought perhaps you might make him eligible. Maybe God protected him for that reason.
She don't look happy with that.
I shall think the matter over.
Thank you, Aunt Lydia, for your graciousness. Praise be.
Now get to class. Late girls are difficult girls.
Oh boy, is she gonna actually consider it, or is she gonna like intentionally keep him away because she knows that...
This is the last day of childhood for these girls. Innocence can be lost in so many ways.
Food, clothes, I'm assuming. Towel, probably to clean herself up with. Like sweats or something.
Miss Clements, you look fresh. If you are to join our cause, you'll have to prove you mean it.
Oh, no. I can't. Please.
Let me just say
Please,
this. Those who are not with us are against us.
Yes, we are against you. Totally against you. But I do understand what Lydia does to try to get herself ahead and keep herself alive, but still against you. Because this is jacked up on so many levels. When I bring up The Handmaid's Tale, some people will be like, oh, well, that only happens to women. And I'm like, dude, the men are affected too. These men don't have real freaking freedom and real freaking rights. The leadership at least has power and control, but most of them do not have any freedom. Do you really want a world where the women in your life that you care about are treated this way? Okay, how are they gonna get her out of this?
Sinners are always visible to the divine eye. The sins of these women have found them out.
Whatever my resolve may have been, after some days I lost track of that plot line. The plot line of my resolve.
She lost the plot.
Now I was following the plot line of my survival.
Please, I don't want to die. Please. Lydia, don't. Please.
What is she gonna do?
By his hand.
She was given a blank. Oh. Okay. Jesus Christ. That's gonna create some kind of feelings between them. And that's your test for loyalty. Fucking Gilead. Insidious is right. Jesus fucking Christ.
Only a few open slots left.
I have another one to add to the mix. Garth Chapin.
The Guardian. He's not eligible.
He will be soon enough.
And other commanders in serving Gilead far longer.
Men serve Gilead in myriad ways.
Oh, yeah.
Well, come on now. Spit it out.
Oh, Penny lost the baby. Are they gonna actually make him innocent? Because I don't buy it for a second, but he's definitely not innocent in the book.
I trust you heard the news.
He does not willingly bring affliction to anyone.
Praise be his words.
Is it time to reconsider a handmaid?
Not yet.
He's like, nah, I'm back in the marriage mart.
That isn't your domain anymore.
Bring me another one, because I'm not gonna stay with her.
I can still arrange one for you. You know you can count on me.
In so many ways, dear Aunt Lydia. Your price is above rubies. Praise be.
Praise be.
Yeah, I don't think they're going the innocent route. I think they're going the route they did in the book, where he is causing this shit. And then he cycles through these wives and just causes them undue pain.
We must construct a uniform for your new disciples.
Mine?
I thought you might enjoy the privilege of weighing in.
So he gives them nothing but brown to choose from.
This one.
It's a little rough. Might not be the most comfortable to the touch.
No, I don't imagine it will be.
And from what I understand, the ants were brought in later on down the road. So a lot of the early people that were being taken over by Gilead didn't really know about the ants until later.
My biggest gripe with the old world was the emphasis on comfort, ease, convenience. We had all become entitled little brats.
Penny's child is with God now. Blessed are those that mourn, for they shall be comforted.
How quickly people forget that nothing good comes without a little grinding down of the tooth. For a seedling must fight its way through the dirt to meet the sun.
Hold on. I made this for you.
I do notice, though, she sees their friendship.
Really?
And she doesn't seem to be doing anything to stop it.
I made it for myself. But as you wait for your contenders, I thought you might need it.
Although I think she said earlier that as hard as they might try to end that stuff, it doesn't always work.
That's me. I have my first screen appointment today with a tailor. And then soon your dad to get my teeth whitened.
I have a thought about how Becca's been reacting about these other girls. That she doesn't know he's doing this stuff to them. That's my thought. Don't know if it's right, but that's what I'm thinking. And I don't remember on the book. I haven't gotten to it on the reading that we're doing now.
I pray we're worthy of his gifts, even if they don't seem like gifts at first.
I know us aunts aren't always generous with praise, but it's worth mentioning you have been an exemplary Pearl girl. Today and all the days.
Really?
I'm grateful for the chance to serve, especially after my previous indiscretions.
Takes time to adjust to the ways of Gilead. I made mistakes too.
You're not from Gilead? Where are you from?
We're all of the same earth.
How did you become an aunt?
You need to have a calling. I heard mine, and I answered. You could say I was the original Pearl girl.
Okay.
I'll take it from here.
We've checked all the bloodlines. Our matches are as clean as a whistle.
Okay.
I believe a celebration is in order.
So what are the matches? I think they said they would get like 2 or 3 at the beginning, possibly.
Each season brings its own obstacle.
Which I think is kind of how it worked on the books.
This season has been particularly stimulating.
I just remember one girl having a little bit more control over who the 3 were or something like that, or who she chose or something. I don't remember, but it seemed like the other girls did not have any real control over it at all.
Oh, what delicious news they shall receive.
Oh, what delicious news. Yeah. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What's the damage? Hopefully the most awful ones have been sent to the front lines and they're the ones that were taken out.
We have done our best to teach these girls, to prepare them. What they don't know yet is that life is long.
The words left unsaid.
The real brutality is when it asks you to endure, knowing what you have done and what has been done while you stood by. But what choice do we have? Enduring is the only way through. I control the women of their enterprise with an iron fist, in a leather glove, in a woolen mitten. I made a promise to teach these girls to be women of God. I made another promise. After what happened to my girls at Jezebel, after Boston fell, the noose around my neck began to wear off. I vowed to document everything and everyone. Yes, aunts were afforded the privilege of being allowed to write.
That's the way you do it.
The only women in Gilead who could. But what was I writing? Recording the crimes of weak men and far too many women was not allowed. Could bring down these men, chosen by God to lead us.
Bring them down. We don't want them. We don't need them. Get rid of them. Motherfuckers. They might as well be fucking their mothers, like Jesus Christ. The fuck these people are doing is just so fucking disgusting. Alright. What are her options?
The corrupt and blood-smeared fingerprints of the past.
Pretty sure it ain't gonna be Garth.
Must be wiped away for the morally pure generation surely about to arrive. But among these bloody fingerprints are those made by ourselves. They can't be wiped away so easily. May God protect these girls, because I'm not sure I can.
Well, I don't feel like I did much crying. Like, this should be an episode that I was crying a lot on, but I was ready for it because I knew a lot of the really awful shit that was coming, at least with the aunts, at least with their backstory. All right. And yes, I let it play all the way to the very end through the credits, just in case. You never know when they might, like, add on a little clip or something. But so far, that doesn't seem to happen. I did want to speak about Hulda, because I've been on these fan pages, and I think some of us really like Hulda, but there's a lot of people that don't like her for various reasons. And there's definitely been this chatter between people about the possibility that Hulda might be on the autism spectrum or something like that. And then other people like, oh, why would you even say that? She's just naive or she's just stupid. And I'm like, I understand. I have an autistic brother. 2 kids that are on the autistic spectrum. They are not as severe as my brother, but still, I have a brother that's ADHD. I myself, not really autistic or ADHD, but I've definitely had some neurodivergent issues, and I have a traumatic brain injury, which in many ways mirrors some of the administrative issues ADHD people sometimes have. And I can definitely see certain characteristics in Hulda that other people with different neurodivergence might relate to. I can understand that. Even if you say, oh, well, there's no guarantee that she's autistic. No, there is no guarantee that she's autistic. Also, keep in mind that autism is a huge spectrum. You can be anywhere on that spectrum from one side to the other, of a variety of different traits, some of which certain autistic people have, some of which they don't. But each autistic person is their own individual autistic person. And when it comes to neurodivergence, it's not just autism and ADHD. It's anything that can be mental or neurological, anything that doesn't fit the norm. And yes, it's like a variety of norms. It's not like, oh, you have one little thing that's not normal compared to the rest of people. Nobody's going to say really that you're neurodivergent. But when you have a variety of things that tend to be on the edges of what is considered neurotypical, then people start picking up on it. And Hulda definitely has some characteristics that I would say definitely remind me of some of the things that I've seen in my brother, in my kids, in myself, in other kids that I've worked with in school, things like that. So I totally understand how somebody else who is neurodivergent or autistic could definitely relate to her, and I could definitely see how they would feel like she might be autistic, and she might. And some people were saying, oh, Gilead would never let those people live. They would never let them be in the position that she's in. And that's not necessarily true. These guys seem to want girls that do what they say, keep up a certain appearance, are willing to do what they're considering women's roles, stuff like that. They don't seem to want somebody who is typical, like that. That's just the reality. Just insisting that if somebody's autistic, they won't be able to be in a position like that, I don't necessarily agree. Certainly, there are a lot of people on the autism spectrum that would not survive in an environment like that, but there are some that would. I mean, if you think back on Handmaid's Tale, Lawrence's wife was a high-up commander's wife, and she had clear mental health issues. You had Rose also. She didn't have mental health issues, but she had physical issues. Those girls were allowed to stay. Yeah, they are the rare exception, but still. Allow people to see the things that they relate with in these people anyway. Allow them to see an identity to them that may not very frequently be represented in mainstream media. Allow them to relate to it. Allow them to identify it as what they see it as. Because why not? She could definitely be on the autism spectrum. She definitely has some neurodivergent tendencies and characteristics, and she may not be. None of us know that. None of us really know that. But there's nothing wrong with identifying characteristics that you relate to as a marginalized person. So I don't know. I just wish people weren't so crotchety about this stuff. Because why? Let them see what they're seeing. It's not unheard of. She speaks out and she says what's on her mind. This is something, my brother does this. He has a very hard time not just spitting out whatever's on his mind. That mechanism that a lot of us have that help us to think how a certain discussion might not go very well among certain people, like that mechanism doesn't work very well for him. I didn't really have that issue until I had my traumatic brain injury. And it has gotten much, much better. But when I first had that injury, I could not stop myself from just blurting out whatever was on my mind. It wasn't even a matter of, oh, if you force yourself to stop yourself, surely you... No, it was like the thought never even entered my mind. It was like as soon as a thought was in my head, it was coming out of my mouth. There was no contemplation on what that might be like for somebody else or in that situation. It was just coming out. That mechanism that was supposed to help me measure those situations and decide whether it would be appropriate or not was not working at all. And I think that's a lot of what my brother goes through. And I definitely see Hulda, she'll get excited about something and just spit it out. And it doesn't mean that all people with neurodivergence or autism or anything like that don't have the ability to filter out things that are inappropriate. But there are some people that have a harder time with it than others. There are some discussions that will be harder for them to keep it inside than for others. Also, comments that she was stupid really piss me off because this girl is not stupid. She is socially awkward and she has a hard time in certain social situations, but she is not stupid. She's naive, just like most of them are naive because of the situation that they're raised up in, but she is not stupid. That girl has said more intelligent stuff from her mouth than I've heard from most of them. Yeah, that really irritated me when I saw people claiming that she was stupid. I really think people should reevaluate what their definition of stupid is because she is not. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. I will see you next week. Bye.
Is there more?
We'll just have to tune in next week to find out, won't we?
And remember, if you like this content, please click the thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, click subscribe. Ring that little bell and click all, and you'll get more notifications anytime new content comes out.